What's up, Words Way? I am Ashley, and I'm here to give you guys a little bit of encouragement to help you throughout your week. So, this week's encouragement is going to be about finding the beauty in suffering or the importance of suffering. Nobody likes to suffer. This is something that we often pray God to deliver us from, or to see us through, or to get us out of. But there is a beauty in it. So, in Hebrews 5:8-9, it says, even though Jesus was God's son, he learned obedience from the things he suffered. In this way, God qualified him as a perfect high priest, and he became the source of eternal salvation for all those who obey him. So God did not send Jesus to earth in his mid-30s and said, okay, come die for my people. Even though the very reason he came to this earth was to obtain our eternal salvation, he's brought him here. He put him on earth as an infant, the same way that we all come to earth. He put him on earth as a baby and said, although your very purpose for being here is to die on the cross and to raise in 3 days so that my people who believe in you can live and reign with me forever, although that was the reason he was created, although that was his purpose, he still had to go through suffering. He still had to be brought up and go through things, because it said that he learned obedience from the things he suffered, and that is what God used to qualify him as the perfect high priest. So God literally used his suffering and used his faithfulness in the suffering to qualify him for his very purpose. So when we learn to not only patiently endure our suffering, but to be faithful in it, and to not just get down on it, because anytime we see time and time again in the Bible where Jesus sought God, where he would sit and just pray to God and pray all the time, even through hard times, and where he was willing to suffer and starve for 40 days in the wilderness, in a place of uncertainty. And I love the story about him in the wilderness, because it said after he was taken care of by holy beings. So we can suffer all we want, and they nourished him back to health. My God, that is so good. Our suffering, there is purpose in suffering. There is purpose, and there is qualification, and there is things to be learned and things to be taken out of our suffering. And I think the sooner that we learn those things, and the sooner that we mature to a place where we can see our suffering as something that God can get glory out of, because ultimately if we're suffering, it's because God wants to use us later on to get some glory out of. If we can mature to the point where we can see that rather than our situation, we become unstoppable. So that is all that I have for you this week. I hope that you got something out of it.